Good day, this is Dr. Ron McFarland with ISOL531 Access Control. This is Lesson 7, Public Key Infrastructure and Encryption, Testing Access Control Systems and Access Control Security Models. Here's the top of the slide deck, and the first topic is Public Key Infrastructure, PKI. Now, PKI is a framework that consists of programs, procedures, and security policies, and it's employed based on the X509 standards, which is digital certificates for secure communications. And PKI is a hybrid system, consists both of symmetric and asymmetric keys. Parts of the PKI involve a certificate of authority, a registration authority, a certificate server, certificate repository, certificate validation, a key recovery service, time server, and a signing server. Take a look at the specifics in your text for each one of those. The encryption process involves the following. Encryption is a process. It applies an algorithm to clear text or plain text, the data that you're trying to encrypt, resulting in ciphertext, and ciphertext is what has been encrypted. Here you see the encryption process for the sender, the clear text, and using the encryption key that results in the ciphertext. Ciphertext is sent throughout between the sender and the receiver. The receiver receives the ciphertext, goes through the decryption process. There's a decryption key, and that results in the clear text. A real basic map here. The crypto system is a hardware-software system that provides encryption and decryption, and it's made up of the encryption algorithm, the keys, and the software and protocols. Secret piece of the crypto system is the key. The key space is the range of values that construct, ensuring integrity, confidentiality, authentication, and non-repudiation. Confidentiality ensures that the only intended recipient can read the message. Integrity ensures message recipient can be certain that the message received was the message that was sent. Authentication allows someone to provide his or her identity to another, and non-repudiation ensures that a third party can verify that a message came from a purported sender. The symmetric key encryption progress. Symmetric, same on both sides. Clear text, the encryption process, the ciphertext, and decryption, and the clear text is the result on the receiver side. The symmetric key encryption process, you have one key that encrypts and decrypts. You'll see the chain of events from clear text to ciphertext back to clear text using the same shared secret key. Shared key encryption involves these elements: the data plus the key, the encryption process of the system. Encryption example, if you look at the center lower portion of the slide, they're showing a ROT13, rotation 13 encryption process, where A is transition to N, B is transition to O, a rotation of 13 characters, and likewise that is shifted back during the decryption process. So review that. Asymmetric key, asymmetric being different keys on both sides. The sender has a private key, and a public key that the sender has is used to decrypt. The asymmetric encryption process model is noted on this slide, and you'll see the steps that Joan on the left-hand side takes, and on the other side, that could be Bob. Oftentimes you'll see Alice and Bob noted on a lot of the videos on YouTube that explain this. So asymmetric, each one, there's a public key and a private key involved in the encryption-decryption process. Review this from the text. Business requirements include ensuring software and data integrity. It ensures secure collaboration. It ensures secure cloud computing and provides secure transaction with consumers. Digital certificates are used by individuals and servers to provide unknown third parties with a known secure copy of their public encryption key The CA, or Certificate Authority, issues digital certificates after verifying the identity of the end user. The Registration Authority, or the RA, verifies the identity of an individual, initiates the certification process with the CA on behalf of the user, and performs certificate lifecycle management. The digital signature process is noted in the slide. And in particular, notice the use of hash functions in the digital signature process. The digital signature verification is noted on this slide. In the top center, there's a document that has a digital signature, and the crypto hash function is compared with what the digital signature is on that particular document. Key management. Here's the components. The key management, key generation, key distribution, the key storage, key usage, key recovery, key termination, and key archival. Key management considerations include that the key should be long enough to provide the necessary level of protection. Key should be random, and the algorithm should use the full key space. The key's lifetime should correspond with the sensitivity of the data. The more the key is used, the shorter its lifetime should be. Symmetric versus asymmetric is listed on this particular slide. And notice some of the example algorithms like DES, 3DES, AES. There's also some of these algorithms like DES has been deprecated, not used often. Okay, look at, in particular, asymmetric versus the symmetric algorithms. And by the way, the standards that your organization uses, whether it's PCI for credit cards or NIST, perhaps for DoD or DoD contractors, drive the use of which algorithm should be and must be used. What is PKI and what it is not? It's a strong authentication mechanism. It provides integrity, confidentiality, authentication, and non-repudiation. It is not an answer to all security questions or concerns, and it does not provide authorization. It does not ensure that the end user can be trusted. There are potential risks with PKI. There are potential risks associated with PKI. PKI key management is mishandled. The entire PKI system could fail. Managing a secure environment with multiple keys and multiple entries can be overwhelming. Properly maintaining a PKI comes with a financial burden. It's not cheap. Implementations of business crypto. Encrypting hard drives as a preventative measure in case a laptop, for example, or another mobile device is stolen. Encrypting removable devices such as USB drives or thumb drives. Encrypting instant message communication. Encrypting file transfers. Encrypting highly sensitive data. And encrypting information on mobile devices. Security audit involves defining the physical scope of the audit. What are your parameters? Finding the process scope of the audit, conducting a historical due diligence process, develop the audit plan, perform security risk assessment, document the audit results, and specify and implement new and updated controls. In the NIST standards, for example, it requires a gap analysis, a system security plan, a plan of action and milestones, and some sort of action against that POAM. Penetration testing, pen testing, and in part, penetration testing, pen testing. Now that's often handled by folks with a CEH certification or a pen tester, pen test plus certification. Pen testing is called a security assessment with limitations, because there should always be a contract and agreement form when a pen tester is taking action on a system. It's a process of actively evaluating an information system and the security measures invoked on that system. The purpose is to test to ensure that weaknesses which are found can be dealt with before they are exploited by an attacker. Tests should incorporate methodologies that involve software design, hardware development, and penetration testing methodologies. What needs to be tested? There's a whole gamut, and this is part of the contract that a pen tester would do with an organization. So this could be the scope, if you will, but here's all the pieces and parts. Off-the-shelf products, off-the-shelf operating systems, applications, whether homegrown or off-the-shelf, databases, networking equipment, other kind of hardware and software, dynamic websites, in-house applications, telephony products such as war dialing, remote access, wireless such as the Wi-Fi, Bluetooth. If you have SCADA, IoT, that should be part and parcel of a pen test. Personnel, screening process, social engineering, maybe even some dumpster diving to see if items are discarded. Physical access control and that sort of thing. Security monitoring, incident handling and testing involves monitoring and incident handling. Their day-to-day activities, and certainly testing and upgrading. And they note annually. Sometimes it's monthly, sometimes it's quarterly, and sometimes it's biannually. And it depends on the standards your organization is using. Here's a little bit more testing functionality of the original design and developing a test plan and scope to address the vulnerabilities, breach planning, and gap analysis. Vulnerability scanners. Vulnerability scanners take the concept of a port scanner to the next level. It's like a port scanner. A vulnerability scanner identifies host and open ports, but it also provides information on the associated vulnerabilities as opposed to relying on human interpretation of the results. Most vulnerability scanners also attempt to provide information on mitigating discovered vulnerabilities. So here's a list. Common vulnerability scanners include the network-based scanners as well as the host-based scanners. Now, network-based scanners are used primarily for mapping an organization's network and identifying open ports and related vulnerabilities. In a lot of cases, these scanners are not limited by the operating system of the targeted systems. These scanners can be installed on a single system on the network and quickly can be used to test many hosts or numerous hosts on the system. Benefits of vulnerability scanning include the identification of active hosts on the network, active and vulnerable services, ports. A lot of times ports are left open. Those ports should be closed when not in use. Application and banner grabbing, operating systems, vulnerabilities associated with discovered operating systems and applications, and a lot of times this gets to the vulnerabilities that are noted on the CVS scoring for the US CERT database, if you will. Misconfigured setups, testing for compliance with host application uses or security policies, and establishing a foundation for penetration testing. Pen testing teams. Penetration testing is an accurate way to assess an infrastructure's true vulnerability. It's essential for some organizations to do this at least annually, maybe even more frequently. Pen testing simulates an actual attack, and it's an intrusive method for testing a system. Pen testing members should carry an authorization memo from upper management. I can't stress this even more. This memo provides the guideline and the parameters of what can be pen tested. If a pen test goes outside of that boundaries, there could be a risk of legal recourse, if you will. Rules of engagement include, and this is rules of engagement for the pen tester, specific IP addresses or ranges to be tested, any restriction on host systems and subnets, a list of acceptable testing techniques, and it includes, if you will, testing type of software and hardware as well. Times when the test is to be conducted, identification of finite period for testing, and the IP addresses of the machines for which the penetration testing will be conducted from. Now, the red team is considered the attacker. Blue team is the defending team. The attacker and defender know the test is being taken. A Tiger team, external testers who operate in a double-blind penetration test. So that's a twist on that. The methodology is, number one, planning and preparation, the information gathering, the vulnerability detection, the penetration attempt, the analysis and reporting and cleanup. Again, prior to this is the memo along with the focus that the pen test is going to take. The final report involves these aspects: identification of gaps in risk exposures, development of remediation plans, preparation of cost magnitude, and prioritization of security solutions based on risk exposure. Getting back to the cost, what I've done is not provided specific costs. I've given cost ranges, or even in some cases, I will provide a spreadsheet of the gaps that were discovered, and I may place a $1 sign for something that's somewhat inexpensive, all the way up to like $5 signs for something that would be extremely expensive to remediate. Access control, the model, if you will, and that is the top secret, confidential, and unclassified. We mentioned this before in an earlier lesson, so review this in the course. Confidentiality model include the Brewer-Nash model. That's designed to mitigate conflicts of interest. It's the Chinese wall. Read-write access to files is governed by membership of data in conflict of interest, both classes and data sets. Integrity models. Look at through this one in the book in particular. You have high integrity level, a medium, and a low integrity, and the aspects along with that. Clark-Wilson model is a subject must go through a middleman called a program to reach an object. So subject, program, and object. That's the key with this particular integrity model. This program enforces a separation of duty. It's well-formed transactions, and the TLC means no tampering, L, proper logging, and C, consistency. That's the subject, program, object with the Clark-Wilson model. Models that cover all of CIA, and remember what that is, the Graham-Denning model, and that model has 8 basic protection rules that outline how to securely create an object, how to securely create a subject, how to securely delete an object and delete a subject, how to securely provide the read access right, the grant access right, the delete access right, and the transfer access right. So there's 8 basic protection rules of the Graham-Denning model. Now, coined the term monitor to describe the mechanism that enforces access from subjects to objects. Again, subjects monitor objects. I've seen this written as SOM. The Harrison-Russell-Ullman model, the HRU model, primarily deals with the integrity of access rights to the systems, and it's an extension of the Graham-Denning model. So these would be, I'm going to flip back, these would be good to put side by side to do a comparison. The access matrix contains one row from each subject and one column for each object, and it builds on an intersection. Your book has a matrix that you can look at. Subject, access control matrix, and object. That's the key. Down at the bottom, subject, access control matrix, and objects. And if I flip back, it's subjects, monitor, objects. So this is a little more in-depth with the Harrison-Russell-Ullman model. In conclusion, the Week 7 assignments: review, read chapters 13 and 14. Read, review, and research the access control models. This will take some time to compare and contrast, but it's worth it. Complete the labs and the quizzes associated with this week, and study for and complete the final exam. A lot to do this week, but it's wrapping up the course. And I thank you very much. This is Dr. Ron McFarland with ISOL531 Access Control. Thank you.